Hello there, folks. Yes, sorry about whatever the hell that was. Apparently, and hell if I know why, apparently there's a weird incompatibility with 1.54, which I typically like to use for, well, everything PSP-wise, and that mod or not that mod, but that ROM in particular. So, my bad. Oh crap, it's so loud now. Oh, my eardrums. Hang on, we got this. There we go. That should be better. Let's put it to about there. Put this thing to about here. There we go. That should be about right. So we're gonna go over here. Okay, that's multiplayer now. Yes, leave multiplayer. Okay, so single player, load game. What do you mean there is no data? We just had a data. There was a datums in here. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't transfer it over, like an idiot. A numbnuts, even, one might say. That's fine. It's perfectly manageable. Let's go ahead and make that happen. But yeah, sorry. For that issue, never came up when I was testing it for about an hour earlier. So that should not have happened. But it's alright. We'll get that save file back all lickety-split-like here. Have it all nice and lickety? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Date modified. Today... wait, what? Oh crap, it's gonna be one of those ones that have a weird date on it. Name. Okay, what is your code? ULJM0... whatever. ULJM, where are ya? ULJM... Is that it? It's unclear. Anyway, so to probably go forward here with explaining what the hell I was talking about earlier, probably doesn't help to... Oh, here it is. JM. Okay, thank you, dramatic announcer man. 5763Y. Is it not here? All the other... ULJM. Okay. I think it might just not be here. Here it is. Here it is. That is some janky weirdness. For some reason, it even defies the library here. I have everything saved pretty much where it should be, and for some reason, despite the fact that it's alphabetical order, this thing with a U is showing up near the B's. However, that exactly works. Anyways, there we go. Saved it. Now we should be good to go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, plots. See, MathNet, the numbers are real, but the names have been changed to protect the infant well. Alrighty then. I guess that makes about as much sense as many other things now, doesn't it? Okay, so, everybody's all equipped. Should be just one fight here. Oh yeah, this is way faster now. Also, I guess we don't need to replace anything, do we? There we go. We should be all good to go. Oh, I forgot to buy jewelry, didn't I? Oh, okay, so that's the funny thing. Even without their jewelry, they are OP as hell. Like, very, very, very early on. You're gonna see, like, within a couple fights, they're gonna be running around two-shotting everybody. Within a few fights more than that, it's basically just over. And then if we wanted to get really fun with it, with a few fights, like, honestly, I could just switch them back and forth between the other classes. So yeah, like for example, if I were to do this and then switch them, like let them level up as this for one class, switch them all over to warriors, do a quick time mount fight, let them level up as those, you know, do the same thing with clerics, do the same thing with wizards, etc. Each of them would end up getting more and more stats. So for reference, that system was in the US version, but it was toned down. It was toned down by 10 times. So when I was saying earlier that the US version was absolutely jacked in terms of how powerful you can make your characters, that was 10 times scaled down from the original. so yeah. As I was saying before, in many interviews and things like that, I kept feeling like they were talking about a completely different game, so this should be that game. This is the version that Japan got, so let's see what happens. Now, I don't know if the DLC and all that ended up changing all the scaling and all that. It feels like maybe that's what happened there, because you probably would wind up with maxed out characters by the end of a standard story run, or at least close to it. But anyway. Yes. Skip all the cutscenes. They're basically over there talking about how Vice is such a huge fan of Canopus. He just likes to stare at him all the time. Like, oh man, check out all those bird packs. I gotta stare at that all day. He's like, yes, I know, I never wear a shirt. And yeah, that conversation never got awkward whatsoever. So we'll just kind of go on from there. CCS, Kashwa, shut up. Kashwa's over there basically just reciting Shakespeare or something, I assume. It's the only reasonable assumption. I mean, it's definitely far more logical than anything that comes out of her face normally. So whatever, that'll be just fine. So yeah, as far as different effects and all that, I haven't seen anything just yet, and I would assume that none of that is in here. Again, aside from very minor AI differences, and like by minor I mean I'm not even 100% sure it's really the case. It just could have been like the kind of situation where it's like, okay, I saw one stat point differently, so I decided to act differently that day. Like that's honestly, the AI can be that fiddly in this. So right off the bat, using one of the weakest weapons that there is, they're already doing more damage than most of these guys are doing with their actual proper strong weapons. Just to kind of vaguely give an idea of how stupid OP this class is to begin with. Basically, the class is OP, their weapons are OP, and the fact that they get even more hidden scaling on top of that is OP, plus the fact that they'll be getting near max base stats means that this should be some downright speedrun territory. So we're going to go ahead and just keep you away here. Don't have to worry about Canopus whatsoever. I believe we should end up getting at least one archer mark out of this. Could be wrong, but I don't think that archer's there in vanilla. No, they totally are. It's just, I'm thinking it's a guy that can spawn in there. It's usually a guy. Whatever. That's fine. That's why I don't remember the sweet floppy hat. Yep. Obviously it isn't normally this fast. This is all run and fast forward, but if you were playing One Vision, this would be the normal speed. Because that's the speed that it makes sense to play this at. I mean, obviously not for the menu selections, but I mean for the arrows. So yes, the Archeron, aka the how Matsuno plays. Yep, pretty much. And yeah, these guys are going to be 10 times more powerful than they normally would be in the version that I've played growing up. So there's that. That doesn't sound like there's any balance problems with that whatsoever. Like I was saying earlier, I was originally planning to do like some Cerebro or XDiv or something like that today. But yeah, then I'm reading over some of the comments over in the One Vision Discord. I'm like, oh yeah, are you ever gonna put out a patch for the Japanese version? To let them get a chance to try out this mod. And he said he may put out a light version of it, just because all of the names would have to be entirely different, and it would take a pretty extreme understanding of the language and all that. Yes, how would you like to go ahead and become an archer? Honestly, when it comes to this game, sometimes it just makes me think of like memes for Skyrim and all that kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, this one class is great because they can become stealth archers. Oh, this one class sucks because they can't become stealth archers. Now, if you want to go through the game, you should just go ahead and be a stealth archer. And if you want to go for a challenge run, you may as well go ahead and make it easy by being a stealth archer. It's just like the absolute meta is always to be a stealth archer. But anyway, so now, because of some absolute genius, I still can't believe they did this. Normally, they at least pretend that these things aren't going to be a normal thing. But you get longbows after your first fight, so we already have them before the first fight. Actually, I believe you even have to go to Chrysero to unlock these in the original. With the still jacked balance, it just cracks me up to no end that is the rebalanced version. Like, how did that happen? How did this ship? Clearly, there was love put into this project, but this is jokes right here. Okay, so on top of the fact that everybody's already stupidly strong, we basically have Canopus here as an archer who can fly. Yeah, this is gonna be great. No balance problems whatsoever. I don't speak Nintendo. but I know that we can speak friggin' arrows. Also, can't help but notice that Donalto does different damage every time this fight starts up. So this is my roughly 4th time testing this little beginning area out, just to see what kind of stuff functions differently. And funnily enough, yeah, he generally does 3 or 4. This time he decided to do 6 for some reason. But as far as I can tell, the NPCs don't get that same thing where they get their crazy bonus stats and everything. So, who knows? Who friggin' knows? Man, they're all gonna get stats like crazy. It's like Stat Christmas! Yeah, already 2-shotting stuff. And it's not just Canopus either. Actually, everybody else can do about as much damage as he can, surprisingly. He's just way more accurate. Hi there, Mr. Stealth Cow. Is he a professional cowman? Exactly, he's so professional. I mean, sometimes he just munches that grass and like nobody even questions it. It's like, oh man, that's some professional grass munching right there. How can we possibly question this? But yeah. So what do you think? Are these guys just going to wind up with max stats before the end of Chapter 1 or what? Because it's kind of feeling like that's where this is going to wind up going, and I selected the wrong tile. Whoops. That's fine. There's the reset button. Yeah, I'm not going to really worry about using Chariot for this one, because this is just a fun run anyway. Definitely not even the slightest bit of challenge involved. Let's not even kid ourselves. Alright. So yeah, Mr. Cow, brief synopsis on this whole thing. This is the Japanese version of the vanilla version of this game. Basically, it turns out that the original version had even worse balance than the US one that I constantly go on and on about. So I have to see how bad this is. Because yeah, the only change that I know of for sure is the fact that the DLC may be different, and the fact that all the stats go up 10 times faster than they should. So it's kind of like everything you were saying about FFT, but imagine all the stats went up 10 times as fast. Yeah, that's some incredible balance right there. What's funny is I think it might actually help. Like, I think it might actually make the game more balanced. So, I'm curious to see what'll happen. Can you... Okay, you can't punch death this skeleton yet. But he can probably take out their archer back here. Man, this is 2 battles into the game, I just want to point out. 2 battles into the game, they're 2-shotting everything already. That's setting a pretty neat precedent. These are just generic characters, nothing even special unlocked yet. Though I have to say, as far as generic classes go, I don't think anything ever... I really can't think of any game that's let you have something this OP at the very start. Yeah, these slight bonuses that they got, these would have been after reaching about level 10 or so. Granted, their weapons would have been so crazy overpowered by that point that it wouldn't have mattered, but still, it's, you know, it's interesting that anybody let this pack and ship. Their only downside is accuracy, which is still weirdly higher than the US version. There we go. You know, not by much, but it's there. See, do you think to get Matsuno to sign off on FFT, they had to promise him the Archer and Door to Trade City after him? You know, the names are randomized, but after Tio, out of over-leveling, the Archer starts up top of the skyscraper and Raining Death goes, yeah. You know what? That makes sense. It's possible. It's possible. What's funny is I really, really just like love archers in any game where they are actually allowed to appear and function properly. And then the one time that they're as stupidly OP as they were in this game, I just couldn't stand them. Like, it's weird because they were my favorite class in Night of Lotus, despite the fact that they were bar none, like, one of the most garbage tier things you could possibly find. I mean, to the point where that game only had 3 stats that determined how good your character was. It had strength, agility, and intelligence. You know, simple enough, simple to balance. Everybody specialized in a different mix of all 3 of those, right? And everything else just scaled off of there. And basically, archers were the one exception where they basically specialized in only one thing, and that was agility. So they were really good at dodging and really good at hitting things, but their damage was, like, so beyond subpar it's not even funny. You could give them the best weapons in the game, and they would probably hit worse than a fairy. But anyway, the funny part is that, yeah, they were still really fun to use, despite that. Like, on more than one occasion I went all the way up to the end of the game just using crossbows and those guys. And they were plinky, but they never did 1 damage. You never got that low. But then again, Knight of Lotus is just somehow a complete wonder horse of balance. Anyway, let's see. 7th Saga was different in Japan. It was a lot easier. Stat increases went 1 for every stat every 10 levels. Enemies were weaker and counter rate was lower. That sounds way more pleasant. Wait, how did we get the harder version of that anyway? Seems like we always get the easy version. But, yeah, no, there's no question that this is the easier version, though. Like, seriously, when I saw that topic come up, it was 1 stat per, or 1 of every stat plus something else, like 1 to 2 stats per frickin' level. That seemed so busted that I thought there's no way it could be legit. Like, okay, 1-shotted a boss, 2 fights in, no grinding, nothing special, just 1-shot a boss, whatever. They're squishy, but still. It's okay, here we go. Okay, sweet archers you got there. No. Get out of here, non-archer. Friggin' lameness. Interestingly, that's not what she usually comes with. She can come in with a longbow here. Weird. Okay. Starts off with a defensive preference for some reason. Now, this makes me wonder, will the second... Okay, the second upgrade didn't seem to... it brought some things. Huh. Yeah, this seems largely the same. I think it's entirely the same, actually. So it's weird that that first store upgrade gives you so much. Anyway, let's get 8 of these. Or at least as many as we can afford. Yeah, all of that was before their basic attack rings, by the way. So as if they weren't OP enough, now we can go ahead and upgrade their stats even farther. I'm just going to leave their armor as whatever they came in. It's never going to matter. Like, I can leave them completely naked and we'd be perfectly fine. Because at this point they're just basically fighter jets on legs. So, okay. Fair enough. They've already got multiple stats. To point this out, several pieces of equipment are picked just for the fact that they give you 1 or 2 extra stats. In this case, they've gotten that many just from the start of the game. So they've already got built-in endgame armor from the very beginning. So alright, let's see what else we can get here. Pick up another few of those. He doesn't need one. You do. Man, this is just some utterly stupid crap right here. Yeah, he's already in the 40s. He's already in the 40s, so whatever. Fair enough. We'll be moving on here. Let's see if states work. Okay, save states do seem to work. Kind of. They're a little bit janky, though. Hang on. One quick moment. I got a phone call coming in. Hello again, every peoples. Okay, telephone call is done. So, I just noticed I actually forgot to pick up a thing here, namely bow skills on everybody. So, if you want to know what the bow skill looks like, it's kind of hilarious, because it's all like, hey, check it out, I'm a little squiggly over here. Then you pick up that thing, you pick up this thing, you pick up this thing, and basically, aside from that, there's just anatomy. It should be this one, I think. Hopefully. If it's that one, then he's all set to go. Anyway, I'm gonna put it on him and hope that that's the one. If he ends up getting points up, then we'll know it's the one and pick it up for everybody. But in the meantime, we got basically bows and tremendous shot for everyone. It's ridiculously good. Okay, so you get that, you get this. Yeah, I may have slightly planned this out. Because literally all I want on everybody, like, I honestly, I'm not even interested in getting strengthened. All I want to get is just friggin' tremendous shot and anatomy and bows on everyone. Trajectory, maybe. We'll see. Ah, dang it. Okay, don't do that in fast forward. It's making me select stuff all weird. There we go. This part I can do in fast forward. Not to mention, I'm not 100% certain which thing is actually going to be strengthened at this point. So, if you didn't know what strengthen did originally, it can basically be summed up as if you get past armor, you get that bonus. Also, that's kind of hilarious. HP max up. That one's in English, but all these other ones, I think this one's strengthen up. Maybe. It's hard to know for sure, but whatever. We'll pick it up if that's the one. Who cares? Who cares? It again, should be kind of a moot point. I think these guys are going to be doing max damage relatively quick here. It requires a skill of some sort, so... that might say none. I don't know. We'll find out. Whatever, these are good enough. Let's go here. And this is probably going to be the most exciting part of this run, because this is the point at which they can all be turned into AIs, and they can go... I can just, like, leave this running on autopilot as they run around friggin' trouncing everything. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. So you tend to lean towards bows? Yeah, me too. Absolutely love range characters. Like, typically bows or any kind of sniper characters in any game that I play. Always tend to go for the safe long-range option. Okay, skip cutscene. Okay, you go ahead, go for AI. Oh wow, these are useful. I think it's this one. I think that's ranged. We're gonna find out if it's ranged in just a moment. And then from here on out, the rest of the game should basically play itself. Because yeah, I never would have expected anything like this. Like seriously, friggin', like imagine if you were playing like an Elder Scrolls thing or something, like one of those ones that you really expected to play for months at a time. And literally anytime you touched the skill, you just got another level in it. It's basically the equivalent of that. Because every time these guys are going out into a fight, they're getting another stat. More or less. Yeah, that feels like it's the ranged option. Yeah, the game plays itself at this point. Because nothing is going to be able to get close. They're going to get in relatively within range, and then just get completely iced, and that's it. Zelda, Diablo, Monster Hunter, Fable, etc. Yeah, my personal preference on any game that I can do is like spear walls and bows, if it's at all possible. Like, One Vision allows it, strangely enough. It's actually something that's allowed in X Division, although it's more like stun batons, riot shields, and snipers. But whatever, close enough, it works. He said that there are spears in there somewhere, so I guess we'll find out, provided that run ever gets that far. See, it's hilarious. Every single time that I find out something new about X Division, it's just like, holy crap, how is this even remotely supposed to be possible? I mean, like, I'm all for impossible runs. It's been surprisingly okay given increasingly dire circumstances. Like, the fact that we're still technically winning the run, despite the fact that we're having casualties of like 10 plus per friggin' stream. But anyway, yeah, it's been better than expected. By the way, I just want to point out, leveled up Knight right there does 20. Every one of these archers does 60 to 70. And they haven't even started using their skills yet. Yeah, 85. They can friggin' shoot for 85s and 90s and... Oh no, an ad got you? Yeah, those do that sometimes. Those dang ads coming in out of nowhere. This is so jacked. Who thought this was balanced? Archer's OP, please nerf. Rakes, save us. I'm just kind of more so afraid of dialogue boxes because they end up slowing this down slightly. It's just a weird accidental speed run where you just hold down the button. Are you allowed to do a fast-forwarded speedrun? Does that get to count if you have no idea what you're doing? It's called a language bias. It's pretty hilarious because I technically put speedrun in one of the tags. You know what? We'll call it routing for a speedrun. How about that? I think that counts. You just missed last minute of whatever anyone said. Long story short, Archers are OP, gripe. That about sums up everything that I've said. And yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying the show of them completely wrecking face right now. Ed was saying that X Division allows for shield walls and snipers, which is as close to spears and arrows as I can get in that one. Yeah, I love the hold down the button and win option. This is balanced. But yeah, it's funny because this literally is the conversation I had with somebody once. Like, oh, yeah, look at that. Almost all of his stats are already above 40. He's heading towards 50. 100 is the max. So, yeah. Let that sink in. So I'm going to go ahead and save state it just in case Sistina offs herself here. But this fight is one of the ones that ends up ruining people when they end up playing it, because they're like, oh crap, and we want to go save her. This is the one, you know, just like Algus or whatever, but not awful. As in, she's actually a good guy. So, you know, she ends up going and stabbing a dude, and then usually gets herself eaten by a freaking dragon. And it's funny, because the way that they have this set up is just, she usually goes up and fights that one Valkyrie one-on-one off to the left, and the way that it's supposed to work is that, yeah, those two fight. However, most of the time she ends up deciding, oh yeah, I can throw a fireball at that dragon or something, or throw a wind shot at it, and she'll just sit there, just eating arrows over and over, getting wind shotted over and over, and ends up dying pretty darn quick-like. So, at this point, the only thing that is properly resisting their damage, like, you'll notice the damage that they're doing against the dragon, that's what they're supposed to be doing. That is their, like, as their weapons go, that's what the actual damage they should be doing to stuff. But, because of the fact that their scaling goes up in so many ways at once, they basically ignore armor for the most part, and just basically lightsaber through everything. So the dragon's the only thing with high enough armor this early on to be able to actually resist them. And yeah, they still do the same as that guy with a sword does. The general idea with the balance originally, from what I can tell, was just that they really, really wanted to say, like, oh yeah, look, you can't get past these giant, draconic super beasts. You need a Dragoon, and then you get the Dragoons, and then they one-shot them, and it's also kind of cool. Let's see, did anyone else have a moment in FFT where they had a knight and wondered if they could use break weapon from range if they made a knight an archer? Yes, I did, and I know for a fact that you can make that into a... Oh wait, that's exactly what Procow said. Yes. My favorite thing to do with Mustadio in that game is actually to train him as a knight, and or have him eat a knight. Also, we're gonna have to restart it here because Sistina got dead. Like, oh no, I'm all sad now, game over. Okay. Now we go ahead and do that again, this time not agreeing to save her, at which point she hopefully will not get herself killed. So yeah, to folks that were saying, hey, oh my god, One Vision broke it, Sistina died, I don't remember it being this bad. Yeah, no, you just remember it wrong, because hell, even with completely overpowered units, she still died long before anyone could actually get up and help her. If you have a naked flying cleric, that's a different story, but by and large, no, there's no reasonable way to get to her without having some plan ahead of time. In One Vision, at least she has the option to dodge most of the attacks coming towards her, and this one she just sits there and takes it. Just so you know. Anyway, so let's see. We should see more cross-class synergy like FF had in TO and OB. In TO it's more of a chore. Get an Ogre Blade to move Fusilier to my Hawkman, or move the gun skill from Human Fusilier to my Hawkman Pirate. Yeah, that was some dumb crap. That's why in One Vision that he can just learn it. Uh, but what's funny is there originally was a lot more cross-classing. Like in the SNES version and in Knight of Lotus, you basically could put any weapon or any equipment on any one. So you tended to see a lot more like, oh yeah, I want to stick a longbow on this wizard or whatever else, and you have that. Granted, aside from that, they wouldn't necessarily be great at that job, but I think Knight of Lotus did it the best because you could essentially do a thing where if you had somebody accomplish certain things, you had your emblems. Those emblems would make you better at certain things, meaning that you could essentially just kind of customize your own classes as you saw fit in a relatively organic way. Is it perfect? God, no, but I mean, it wasn't exactly as rigid as FFT either. They tried to do that, well, they claimed to do that with the original version of this, except it basically boiled down to, oh, look, you can carry over all these skills between classes, and what they meant was like, oh yeah, you got Strengthen and Fortify, and you carried them over from a Berserker, and you put them on a Wizard. Oh man, look at you, so smart! And yeah, no. The stupid part was, you could carry them over, but you could only carry over some of them, and it was always just enough to not really be useful. So yeah, ultimately what One Vision ended up doing is just, for the most part, there's a few interesting carryovers, like if somebody's a Fusilier, they can bring the gun skill over to a Dragoon, which they can't learn themselves. But other than that, though, they generally try to stick to just what they know best, because that mod is more about, just, every class can do a lot of things, and you try to use them as you see fit. Alright, so Sistina's gonna go ahead and die now. See you, Sistina. Good job not surviving. Let's see. Let's see. Don't ask how a cow uses a bow. I don't need to. You know why? I've seen cows with guns. I know for a fact what you guys are planning. Friggin', cow say tongue or whatever they call them. Man, if you've never seen cows with guns, go watch that crap. It's fantastic. It's so dang good. Alright, so there we go. He got completely rocked. Yeah, these classes are still so balanced. So balanced! I literally had no single input that entire fight. Completely crushed it with no issues. Alright, so at this point, we'll go here, do that. Yep. Whatever. Everyone's just speaking in gibberish like the parents from friggin' Peanuts. Alright. So I think what we're gonna do now... let's go ahead and save it real quick. I'm gonna turn most of these guys into clerics. Everybody except Canopus, in fact. So everyone's gonna go become a cleric. Or a berserker or something. There we go. Everyone's just gonna turn into some other class. So let's just say berserkers at first. I'm gonna go buy some more berserker marks. And what I'm gonna do is just run them into Tynmouth, probably give them all some basic weapons. Canopus is gonna go through and absolutely friggin' own everyone. And then it'll be no trouble whatsoever. There we go, they got levels. What can we buy here? Not very much. Okay, now Weirdness joins us, and the creepy fan art ensues. One. Huh? Then we have the longest friggin' cutscene in the dang game. And we got this one. Okay, so, Nope is gonna stay in there. Let's have you two out. They're not gonna have equipment, but whatever. The plan is relatively simple. They get as far as they can get. Nopus runs through and just takes out as many units as he can. The other guys serve as a distraction. You may think, hey, this sounds dumb, but don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. So you basically have them take out as many units as they can. They will get a couple extra levels because the first couple will come very quickly. Not to mention, they'll run around using heal leaves on each other over and over, basically tanking damage over and over while Canopus goes and snipes everyone. Would this be a little bit faster with 2 archers? Maybe. Maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and say don't question it. Alright, whatever. And then as soon as everybody ends up going down here, we're going to go ahead and, swap them out a little bit. Yeah, I think we might actually want to go for 2 here. Might be an idea. We'll see. Oh yeah, it's all money. Yeah, I'm really glad the Cerebro mod came in and fixed that. Such a weird issue. We have this one text box that takes half an hour to go through. Alright, so Canopus has proceeded to completely wreck face, despite the fact that there's only one of him, and several of everybody else. There we go, he's already got one down. We spawned in with a bunch of heavy lizards, so I'm just gonna wait until their countdowns reach 1 or something. And if anyone's still standing, we'll just go ahead and accept the experience that we get. You do get experience per kill, as well as a little bit of a bonus if you actually win the fight. So if they don't make it, they don't make it, whatever. But it seems like I really should have given them weapons. Oh well, I didn't. So, moving right along here. Okay. This is just funny. But yeah, you can literally just retreat at any point, so it's not much of a problem. Yeah, 98. He does friggin' hundreds already. Probably because of all the lizards, like I said, we'll have to retreat. But I'm not terribly worried. And look at that ridiculous strongness. Okay, what you gonna do, Canopus? Gonna go for a tremendous, probably delete the archer. Nice. Collect some loot, because why not? He's got nothing better to do. Go ahead and counterpunch that guy. Dodge counter her. Because why not? And yeah, I think after that archer's down, we're gonna go ahead and leave. Alright. And it's gonna go until the next turn. So we're gonna go ahead and retreat here. Go ahead and accept that experience. Actually give them some items. Oh, that's it? That's all it's giving them? 6? Ooh, okay, whatever. I think I will actually give them equipment then. Let's see, we've got Fist Punchy for you, Fist Punchy for you, we've got Shank Knifey for you. They couldn't... Wait, they used knives in the original? I don't remember them being able to use knives. That's... completely busted. How did I not know that they could use knives? I seriously never tried to use a knife on a berserker? Like, it just seems like such a really stupid idea, but... Dang. Alright. That's something to consider. So we'll send them in a little differently this time. Send them in with 2 archers. Actually, in fact, probably what I could do is just do Nibbeth. And then just send Canopus in to take 1 shot and call it a day. Oh, whatever. We're gonna do this first. Get them some stats. For a mermaid run, would use Lamia and Tio since there are no mermaids. Gorgon's Nobi 64. Maybe. I was actually just... originally I was planning to literally only do Knight of Lotus with that particular one. I could do that. There's definitely plenty of options to do so in terms of the other games. As before, would end up doing one vision instead of vanilla because, of course, as far as March of the Black Queen... were there even Gorgons or anything remotely similar in March of the Black Queen? I don't really remember. Well, that's something to hopefully figure out at some point. But yeah, so they continue to completely rock face here. You know, something I have to see here. If all of their stats go up crazy fast, by any chance are they also getting their skills up equally fast? It was 19. No, their skills are still slow as hell. So it's very strange that they decided to go for allowing base stats to go up like that. But whatever, you know, whatever works. Let's keep this going here. Let's see, mermaids and March. Oh yeah, right. They had normal mermaids. Yeah, octopi would be good too. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. So mermaid and octopus run. That sounds pretty doable. Mermaids and bringing in their heavies. They got their tanktopusses. God, that sounds really wrong, like somebody friggin' attached a fleshlight to the giant water tank. God, that's just not a good mental image. TLB-64 Gorgons would be interesting because they're insanely powerful sometimes, but a lot of units use shields and are immune. So hopefully they can do something that is not staring at stuff. Alright, and Canopus is almost done sweeping up here. And I think there's a decent chance that they can make it through this. And I forgot to equip Denim, that might be a good place to start. Yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and retreat. We're gonna go for that whole thing with Nibbeth. If it doesn't work out, and we got a bulge out of it. Neat! Might have one person use a bulge just to see how well that does. Yeah, you go ahead and use a knife. Or, I guess you can't. Why is that one person? Wait a minute. Can I give an archer a knife? No. It's definitely a berserker that has a knife. Don't suppose anybody has the original version in front of them right now to check if they, by any chance, can use knives in that one too? I don't think they could. But it's very possible that I'm wrong on that. I'm wrong on many things. Sometimes I'm even wrong on multiple things at the same time. Alright. So, let's get rid of everybody else, because we literally just need Canopus, and everybody else is coming in for their experience. We'll pop those suckers over there. Let's turn them into, I guess, clerics. Or beastmasters, why not? Free experience for everyone. And go ahead and save it in case this goes wrong, but it absolutely shouldn't, because Canopus should one-shot Nibith, and that's the end of that. Yeah, Berserkers could use daggers in vanilla. Man. Can't believe I never noticed that. Because that must be absolutely jacked for damage! Especially with Sanguine Assault and things like that. But yeah, yes. Hello there, Mr. Rakes. Thank you, as always, for awesomeness. But yeah, that was, as soon as you mentioned that whole thing, that this has, like, friggin' 10 times stat growth, I had to see it. I had to see! Let's go ahead and turn Mr. Dude Guy off of the AI here. Okay, and moving on. Because yeah, all I want to do is have him take a single shot, and it should probably take 5 turns, give or take. It's funny, it kind of turns into... eventually it turns into an almost, what's that game, Valkyria Chronicles kind of thing? Where you're just going and it's like, oh yeah, this entire friggin' battle will take, like, about half a turn, you know, give or take. We'll just go ahead and give everybody infinite turns forever. But, yeah. So by the way, do you happen to know, with this version, the quote-unquote DLC stuff, the, everything with Azelstan, all of the coda and everything, how much of that is actually included? Because, to my understanding, it just ends when the game ends, right? I assume there's no wheel mode, I'm assuming there's no coda, no Azelstan, any of that. And I'm assuming that's why the stats go up 10 times as fast, because you can't go back infinitely? Did I understand that right, maybe? Hopefully? Kinda, maybe, sorta? Shoulda, coulda, probably didn't. Yes, no, maybe so. Can you snipe this dude? I hope so. Bam! Get sniped, son. There we go, so Mr. Old Man got shot in the dick. As you can tell, he's pretty happy about that, so that's life. Alright. So he gets mildly healed. Getting some weird background process in the background. Going for a little bit of a stutter, so hopefully that doesn't continue. Yeah, it's so weird to me that the game broke when I tried to use this on 1.54. So if you don't know why I do that, by the way, basically it's something that, for whatever reason, 1.01 is what it was designed around working. Like apparently when it's being tested, you know, whether it's going to emulate, I guess, is tested on 1.01. But then 1.54 is just one that I personally found ran really well with everything on my setup, for one reason or another. And then later on, that ended up turning into... should I just go ahead and... Yeah, if I snipe this one, then he can just go ahead and finish her, and we should be done here. But yeah, so for whatever reason, yeah, 1.54 is usually the one that's super comfortable as far as my setup goes. And then, yeah, it's currently at 1.71, and it just seems to get slower every single update, for some reason. I can't really say it's getting improved, but hey, you know, maybe it is, and I'm just not noticing it. Or at least, neither of my laptops do. Okay. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. It's funny, because these guys have nothing to speak of. Oh, you know what? Actually, if their stats go up super fast, you know, there's a pretty decent possibility, I would figure, that they're all going to be better, a lot better with a lot of different weapons, especially come late game. So I hope that's the case, you know, it would be interesting to see if that's the case. Because if so, I'd be interested in, you know, maybe running a couple runs of this in my own time. just to see if maybe I can do some weird challenge runs with it. Like see how, for example, the Scrooge challenge ends up functioning on this one. Which, by the way, that'll be the video of that one from this morning will be uploaded as soon as I do that. So yeah. Hi there, Mr. Nebeth. Bye there, Mr. Nebeth. Nice knowing you. Get a friggin' shot from the sky. Oh, that's just disappointing. Fine. You be that way. We're gonna make this last a couple turns longer. A rouge tomato appears, but why? Why are you throwing tomatoes at me? Dang it! What is this old-timey, you suck at everything kind of nonsense? Whatever. It's actually funny that at once tomatoes were so friggin' cheap that you could just throw them around to insult people. And at this point it's like, oh, you want these orange tomatoes? I'm sorry, that'll be $8 for a box. Oh man, if you've never tried those little orange grape tomatoes, those things are worth the money. I never thought I'd say that, but they are so worth it! They're so good! I've never tasted such a good tomato in my life. It's kind of amazing. I forget their name of them. I think they're Sunburst or something tomatoes? Yeah, okay. There we go. One shot! Canopus is one-shot man. He sort of shows up, says okay, presumably sheds all his hair, and snipes somebody through their soul. Alright, there we go. More stats for everyone. Congratulations, dudes. How strong is Denim at this point? He is now... Yeah, all his stats are already above... Or no, except for Mind. His stats are already above 40. Still approaching 50. And so there we go. Go ahead and do that. Now we run to Tynemouth. Have them do a little bit of a fight there. You know, give these guys some token equipment just to make them do some damage at least. Let's say... Sharpos and shields for you. You know, that way they can keep up the archers a little bit. Get those guys leveled up, turn them back into archers, and then keep stuff going. I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this. Okay, there we go. Got that. Good enough. Alright. Save it real quick. Go back and forth a fair bit. See, Rouge Tomato is your first mark in FF12. I haven't... Okay, I've seen that one in... What's it? What am I forgetting here? Oh, crap. Didn't mean to do that. Why can't I read your language? It's funny because a lot of stuff from FF12 ends up reappearing in FFTA2. So I've vaguely seen it from that perspective. So let's set you back to a ranged AI. That way we can just sit back and watch as the game does itself. There we go. But yeah, no, a bunch of stuff ended up carrying over. So I'd assume it's kind of the amalgamation of a bunch of ideas that they tried to evolve out of that, maybe. But already then... Yeah, these guys probably are going to go take care of that wizard guy. Nopus here is just going to be awesome, as always, because he does not know how to not be awesome in vanilla. He doesn't know how to be not awesome in any version, now that I think about it. Because, yeah, he still remains easily probably one of my favorite characters in One Vision 2. Just because, yeah, if you don't know the One Vision version, he basically just, like, dodges everything. That's his whole shtick. He's like a regenerating evasion tank with really light weapons and armor. It's surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. Alright. So Chickie's gonna go around healing, probably gonna end up getting herself sniped next. There we go. Everyone's doing their thing. That's funny, because I was talking about doing an AI run of this game at some point. And I guess this is the way to do it. I kept trying to do all this kind of fancy stuff about setting up different kind of parties and knights and archers and everything else. You need only archers. Archers just solve every problem. Though, again, in the US version, they didn't get those stats, so equipment surprisingly mattered at level 30, and then it never mattered again after that, for some reason. If you're wondering, by the way, again, why 1 point per level is such a big deal, to give an idea of how the scaling goes, in One Vision, when they want to simulate the effect of a heavy armor, they give 6 points to some chainmail. And that basically makes it so that units have to have a lot more attack power to actually break through their defense. So to simulate, like, realistic mail, it's like 6, and I think a A light helmet is 4. Let's see, I think like full-on armor was 8 or so. Then I think it's 6 for a heavy helmet as well. So for like a total of 14, that's like a full heavy set. And I think it's I want to say, how much does Ring of Vigor add? I think it adds like 5 and 10, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, so around the 20 range, let's say. Presumably that's the highest you can go off the top of my head. Something like that is going to be like a full-on, nobody can break this guy, they're friggin' super beast, right? So in this one, over the course of the first chapter, you can get that just built in on everyone. So that's kind of nuts. Alright. Almost at the point of some dudes bleeding out. I think I might just let that happen. Not overly concerned about it. Quite frankly, it's just more experience for everyone else. Okie dokie! Come on, finish off them dudes, please. He's almost done. Almost done. Nope, is just running around sniping everyone. Like, don't worry, I know you guys suck, but it's fine, I got this. Like, going down and just shooting everybody down, looking like friggin' Legolas or some crap. I mean, we've got all the rain going, so we can probably just put, like, Canopus's face on top of, on top of Legolas or something. You know what, I kinda want somebody... That's... When I go and put this up later, that's gonna have to be the friggin' thumbnail. It's like, you know that one scene where he slides down a shield? He's like going down, just like pew 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 all the way down the stairs, skateboarding on a shield. That. Let's see, it's a member of the Deadly Nightshade family, although wandering so far from home has weakened it greatly, it's still not a foe to take lightly. Come to think of it, did FF12 also have the friggin' bunny killing mission? They have this whole thing in FF8 too, where you, it was this chef that came along, he's like, okay, I need certain ingredients, like I need specifically these tomatoes, I need these bunnies, I need only, like, specifically these bunnies over here. And so you literally fight endless waves of surprisingly overpowered bunnies. Yeah, it's really good, actually. Wait a minute. What the hell is this? Chariot stands for something. Huh. Okay, well, also, apparently using Chariot that one time didn't count. For some reason. Anyway, let's go ahead and drop a quick save state right there. And change these guys into something else. Like, let's say... Yeah, there you go. Go become witches. Be the witches! And then I'm gonna take Canopus off of AI. Gonna have him run up to the very front, go snipe Mr. Nightman, while these guys literally do whatever I could not possibly give less of a crap what they do. And yeah, we should be good to go for a lot more levels out of that. Let's see, and a few Melbros coming out for that dish. Oh man, you don't want friggin' cancer friggin' your entire body? I just assumed that would happen. You just ate a Marlboro, you just get instant cancer of the everything. It's like somehow your mouth, lungs, liver, heart, pancreas, and your entire butthole have spontaneously developed every single cancer imaginable, so... Yay? Alright. Now, let's see if I can remember this right. We got... Okay, that's bows. Presumably, let's see, daggers, bows, crossbows, and throne. And I don't know what that is. That's probably anatomy. Yeah, because basically everyone can learn it. So, okay, we're gonna... Maybe not. It says everybody can learn it, so I'm gonna assume that's that. And then I'm gonna assume you're strengthened. So, let's go ahead and see about assigning that. Save it real quick. And away we go! So, Mr. Rakes, by any chance, do you know about that whole DLC thing I was asking about earlier? Yes, nobody so. Let's see, it had that one bunny whose strength cannot be measured, and many other beasts of legend that have fallen before it. Maybe? There was a lot of that in FFTA too. I'm gonna think of it, I still have to finish that, that one mod I was doing. doing a run-up. I got a few parts into that, and then started switching computers, and then all kinds of jankiness happened. So I'm gonna have to get on that at some point. Because, yeah, I know that mod was also pretty darn good. Like, I know I cover way too many mods, but still, there's so many cool things out there. So we'll know if that was strengthened if he, like, spontaneously causes people to explode, so kind of. Also, did he get experience from that shot? No idea, really, haven't looked into it. Well, I guess we're gonna find out, because honestly, that's the only possible explanation I can think of for just how on earth this happened. Okay, that was anatomy, so he has anatomy, and he should be OP as all hell now. So, yeah, strengthen, anatomy, tremendous, and bows. That should be all they ever need in the entire run. Because I want to see if, under these conditions, they're actually able to break past the level 30 wall. I think they can, and I think that's what the original goal was. Like, to have a thing where everybody's equipment scales up, but your stats are good enough that you can still survive it. And, yeah, hopefully in this version, you don't get screwed. Yeah, he's already one-shotting dudes. Fantastic! Totally balanced, seems legit. There's like one guy taking on everyone with no trouble whatsoever. Pew, 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 pew. I probably should have switched them all to warriors, in fact, just because of Mr. Boyce over here. Probably would have been the way to go, huh? But that's expecting me to think about things. I don't think. What is thought? Thought is for nerds. Friggin' people with brains. Alrighty, what you gonna do here? I don't even care about the drops. Go after the leader. Well, he blocked it, but still, 50 on a heavy unit. I say heavy unit as if there's any others, just knights. It's just knights that are really the heavy units. Do you imagine taking Carrot for a walk in the park? I'd imagine it's something like a St. Bernard. More than likely that's the case. Yeah, if you've never seen like a St. Bernard in real life and all that, just imagine it's a table. It's a big old friggin' table, and it's funny because literally my wife calls them tables. Apparently it's like a vet term. He's actually trained as one. But anyway, so yeah, apparently they literally call them tables because you can just put stuff on them and they'll walk away with it. And can you potentially one-shot Mr. Dude Guy? Almost. He can two-shot the boss. Fantastic. Right, so that's what Leaden looks like. It looks like a bunch of squiggles, like many other things. Yeah, okay. So there we go. He's got his full heal. If potentially that one person that said this is around this time, that one guy healing himself almost entirely is once again a vanilla thing. He does that in all versions. It's funny because at the time I couldn't remember him doing that because almost never does this fight become an issue. But anyway, so yeah, the guy, he may do twice as much healing in one vision, which is kind of funny because it matters far less in that one, because you can potentially do more damage to him, but whatever. Let's see. Wait, what? See, one of your guys might be named Flesh Spring. Google Translate was trying to pick it up, but it's going too fast. Flesh Spring was high school wrestling. Oh my god, what the actual crap? I think that actually might take the cake for amazing names out of these. Like, before that, the current, the previous champion was a guy from the original SNES game whose name was Boner. Like, the very first guy I ever got when booting up that game, freaking Boner. Later on, years down the line, I ended up getting a SNES Classic. End up putting the original game on there, end up jailbreaking the thing and putting every single freaking game I can think of on there. I boot up Tactics Ogre, all excited to relive everything on it. Like, hey, would you like to recruit Boner? Like, oh man, it happened twice. Lightning struck twice for that starter Boner. But yeah, no, Flesh Spring, that's the new champion right now. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Man, come to think about Google Translate, it actually can pick up video now? It can do that? When did that happen? When did that feature get added? It's freaking amazing. Oh, yeah, you know what? Remind me if I forget. This little bit right here needs to be renamed to The Adventures of Flesh Spring. It's somehow even more fitting. Like, just the fact that they're all going to be archers. Because if you think about it, it's just like there's this one guy, just all these rows of serious professional-looking archers, and then there's this one guy that just has, like, a giant dildo with a bowstring attached. Oh my god, that's... I somehow, at the same time, I want and don't want somebody to make a freaking artwork of that. It's like done in the whole Game of Thrones style, you know, where everything's all pencil-drawn and artsy-looking. Oh, man. Oh, that's something else. It tries via your camera. I've never seen that. That's amazing. Freaking technology is amazing, man. It's magic! Okay. Now then. We look at all their stats, we can see they are busted as crap. Yeah, look at that. He's just flying up in stats. Oh, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. He's going to be maxed out. That right there is well and beyond any of my One Vision saves towards, like, the post-game already. With the original, I was probably getting averaging about 50 to 60 by the time they got to endgame. But yeah, this is something. Boner and Flesh Spring sounds like a dynamic duo. It's just like Boner is the arrow, Flesh Spring is the bow. Oh no. This has gone to some dark places. Or has it gone to exactly the rightest places? That's the question, isn't it? Alright, now let's see just how good Canopus is, because at this point his bow should be able to just annihilate anything here. Specifically, he should be able to either take out Gamp or these Griffins with about as much effort each. Kind of want to spare the Griffins though, because they're kind of awesome. So we'll go ahead and let's see, 52. Well, no, he has a lot less health. There we go. Crit on him. Should be able to just go for a tremendous and end the fight next round. That's when I find it hilarious and like, oh, the original. If you go for the original instead of the mod, you get all this strateginess, and it's not hard. No, it's not hard at all. In fact, there's almost no strategy to a lot of the fights, unfortunately, because of the weird balancing. Because you can just make one strong character run up to the very center, punch the boss in the face, and go about your day. It's not really a strategy RPG anymore at that point, is it? But okay. Yes, that might have come up a few times. Might be occasionally somewhat touchy on the subject. I'm not touchy on many things. But when I see something friggin' awesome and somebody's like, nah, make it worse, I get touchy on that crap. Gotta get all touchy-feely. Alright, now, go ahead and pew this guy. Yeah, one more hit, and we should be done here. Yeah, I thought he had Tremendous Shot. I forgot that I didn't have enough points for another slot on him. Not bad. Let's see, it might be translations of the same name. I don't think so, because the proper version of that name was in this one. Let's see. I think it was like a Baynor or something was what it was supposed to be. Kind of a Game of Thrones sounding name. Or Bernor or Beanor. I think it was Baynor. And I think the original was actually supposed to be Bean. And then it was Baynor, and then they just, like, well, Boner, I guess. So, yeah. Now then. Just let Canopus get a turn, so we can go ahead and end it. And potentially get even more OP stats. That's probably why they don't allow any defeat the leader, like, random grind battles. This is the only thing that prevented some people from doing it, I'm sure. The fact that he fires rockets out of his bow. Bonner? I don't know about that. There is a Bonnet, I know that. Though it's kind of incredible how long their name list must be. Because to this day, like, again, it's been like a decade that I've been playing this game. Even more for the originals. To this day, I see new names every single run. So, I don't know. There's a lot. There's definitely a lot in there. Okay, come on. I know, everyone's busy dying or whatever, but I just need Canopus to get one more shot, go deal with Leader. Actually, it's a little bit amazing given the Ogre battle games. that they don't have an option for the AI where they say, you know, attack leader. It's probably because it would have just caused the entire game to break in half, as if it didn't already. It's like, oh, just click attack leader, put a couple archers on there, just sit and watch as the entire game speedruns itself. That would be the best of all the tool-assisted runs. Like, oh, you know, tool-assisted run, we just sit down, push 3 buttons, and then the game wins itself. It just comes up with the exact same time every time, only varying when it decides to load a little bit longer. Okay, there we go, we skip out of it. I will say this version does have something that's kind of annoying, because I'm used to holding down my finger above the X button. So when I hit start, I usually hit like start X, and it ends up canceling out. Although that's more of a regional gotta swap around the buttons thing. Okay, now I figure everyone's got enough points. So we can probably just go ahead and switch them all to archers and just watch the carnage unfold. There we go. And we get some longbows too. As if we weren't already strong enough. Which tells me we might be able to buy them. Hell yeah, we can. We can... I believe this is actually early. Sell. We can probably just sell basically everything. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, by the way. The square and up command, which usually says sell everything, there's a bit of a delay on it for some reason. Go ahead and buy bows, all the bows, thank yous. Yeah, probably pick up some more class marks too, huh? Alright, so which class mark is this, first of all? Yeah. So this one, so let's buy a bunch. Just because we're probably going to do the class swap trick a little bit more later. But for now, we just let the carnage ensue. Plus, they're probably not getting very much from being raised as wizards. Dang wizards! Probably raising them as spellblades or something might be better. I'm gonna do spellblades, clerics, and all that. I know clerics specialize in mind, so that would help them overcome that weakness. So bow, longbow. Interesting fact, by the way, this longbow sprite is carried over from the FFTA games. So if there's ever a question on whether or not they share assets, yeah, they definitely do. It's actually kind of funny how many assets they share. I guess remaking them once again, or just making new sprites, was a pain in the assets. Oh, har har. It's not cussing if it's a pun. There we go. In fact, let's go over here. We need a new champion. This guy looks absolutely just heroic over here. Flesh Spring. There we go, Flesh Spring! Welcome to the Order. We're gonna probably sell some of these, because they're usually a pretty decent source of cash fodder. Give this guy some new nifties. Feel like we just needed to do that even more. It had to be done. Except he only has a helmet. He has no armor. He has nothing else. He literally just comes in, he's out, just letting the world see his Flesh Spring. Now we go ahead and pick this up. And I don't think we can get anything else, so we'll just leave him as that. Yeah, you know what? We'll give him one grind battle here. Flesh Spring, the champion that we needed. Right now we just mash the button until it lets me select AI. Yeah, wow, these guys are overpowered. In fact, you know, I could probably just run them to level 50 here. That's the funny part. I literally could just sit here and let them become level 50 and no problem whatsoever. Okay, here we go. Let's set your AI to ranged. And we're done here. watch the game play itself. Because honestly, by the time they get to 30, they're going to have enough damage to be able to break through just about anything. Not to mention their stats should be enough to break the dang universe in half. Because, yeah, at this point, 20 higher than everything, they're going to be at about 60 to 70 range, give or take, which is usually endgame type stuff. Which means they should actually be able to keep up, which also means that potentially the rebalance version would have broken the balance even more, maybe? I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird how that works. Again, the main thing I want to see is if, when they get to that point, they're strong enough to be able to take it. Because I wonder if this was, like, intended, or if this was a mistake, kind of thing. So you sort of think of Shirtless Berserker calling himself Flesh Spring. I don't know, I like to think that, you know, the bow's all springy-like. You know, he's just going and putting all kinds of phallic objects on the end of his arrows. And everyone's like, oh man, I just don't even want to participate in that fight. Nobody wants to be that one guy that died to a dildo. Nobody wants that. So, yeah. Man, they're just tearing these guys a new one. This isn't even funny. Yeah, if you ever wanted to know whether the balance was iffy on the original, it totally was! Here's proof. They're just... These guys are even scaled up. To deal with them, two of my guys are completely unequipped. And it doesn't even matter, because they're just wrecking face left and right. As you are insisting his traveling companions call him that. Yeah, I like to think he's just looking at all the ladies in the team like, oh yeah, you want to go for a boat ride on the Flesh Spring? Like, no, please no. Just like, it could not be more of a no. Oh, you know what I should try? It's like a dagger and shield run with archers in one vision. Oh man, how stupid would that be? I kind of want to try it. I know, my runs are dumb, and I should feel dumb. Okay. Gee, I wonder if this will go poorly. I'm sure we will totally lose. It's kind of funny to me that in the PSP remake, they couldn't figure out how to make them fire beyond range. Like, even when they're firing downhill, and it's pretty obvious that they should be able to do so. But when it came to, what's it, Chronicle Valeria on the SNES game, they were able to actually make that function work somehow. So, you know, go figure. You know, if anybody knows how to make that happen. I kind of doubt it, because it feels like one of those things that would require a lot of, you know, changing limitations and all that kind of thing. At the gameplay itself, I need to do nothing. Wonder if I can go to the tags and change it to an AI run. I mean, we're basically going for a full AI run at this point. Actually, you know what I should call this? Twitch plays Tactics Ogre. It's just no inputs, everything's on autopilot. There we go, let's set text to keep on going. Just have it run entirely on autopilot, and then everybody keeps punching in buttons thinking it actually does something. Like, oh man, I totally made that guy do a thing. You know what, though? You know what? That would be hilarious to watch, though. I'm gonna have to set that up. I think I'll probably set that up next week. Because, yeah, you just set up a thing where somebody puts in, you know, they put in their command, they put in a button, and all around chaos ensues. So I kind of wonder how many times the save file will get deleted before anyone beats Chapter 1. Okay. Yeah, as soon as this is done, I'm going to have to look into how to make that happen. Oh, that'd be amazing. Be absolutely amazing. Just watches the most masochistic questions ends up happening. Oh, you know what? No, it needs to not be Tactics Ogre, it needs to be March of the Black Queen, because it's so much harder to lose that game. So, plus the leader would probably end up being so overpowered that, you know, they could just keep restarting the game without ever losing their save file. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to set both of those up, somehow. Definitely a somehow on that. But it's possible. It's possible. What do you think would end up happening? Do you think they would ever end up beating it? Like, for either March of the Black Queen or for TO PSP? Like, I think PSP would be easier in terms of overall balance, because I'm pretty sure at some point archers would be found, and or Canopus would be in the party. And, like, just the fact that he's there is usually enough to carry an entire run by itself. Because literally any class that uses any dex weapon and has Canopus, it doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter at that point. He will completely wreck throughout the entire whole rest of the game. It's the Order of Fancy Hats. Fanciest of hats. Yes. I level up, get insane stats, and they're all like, oh man, it's time to go do some genocide. And yeah, you know what, why not? Let's go do us some genocide, sir. Yay, genocide! So, any bets on whether whether Ravenous is gonna make it here? I'll give you a hint, the answer is no. It's like, oh man, I'm totally gonna take on all 9 of you crazy overpowered dudes by myself. I've been watching as you completely wreck down everybody, but no, I'll be the one that has a chance. Oh man, check out my tragic backstory. People mistook what nationality I was. It's tragic. You should feel bad for me. Yeah, no. I'm apparently her backstory and everything resonated with people overseas and whatever, but dude, like I literally frickin' lived that backstory and I don't find it compelling. Like it's. Let's see. Also make him a warrior and give him fist weapons. Just imagine he's an angry, taloned pigeon. Nice alternative, letting him solo the game with a crossbow. Him being Canopus, yeah. I mean, you could literally any friggin' dex weapon. You could give him a crossbow, you could give him a bow. Friggin' short bow. He's the only character in the base game that, without any additional grinding, would end up being able to completely dominate even with a short bow. He's one of the only ones whose dex got so high that they actually still remain viable. But again, the main thing I'm thinking with this particular run here is if the stats go up like they do, there is a distinct possibility that around the point of endgame, it actually gets to the point where, you know, where maybe, just maybe, stuff remains viable as it should be. Do I think it's likely? No. I think the stats are still going to be completely busted, but it could be about, you know, the same balance as the original SNES game, which, honestly, you know, I'd be okay with that. It does mean that you would be completely screwed as far as new units go, because you only have so many levels. Once you lose your vets, that's kind of it, so you would potentially be completely screwed in that regard, so that's probably why they went about it that way, as far as changing it, but, you know, we'll find out. Friggin' figure this out. Yeah. Twitch plays Tactics Ogre. Can't wait to do that. Yeah, I think I actually know where to get the software for that too. That's gonna be great. Especially the Japanese version, I think, because like, okay, if they do it this way, stuff might be even more more jacked than usual. Oh crap. See, trended Rocket Damon, got him down to 3,300 third try. Well, there you go. I mean, it's not that he has a lot of armor. It's just the fact that he has that, you know, just the right amount of stuff to potentially become overwhelming very quickly. So out of nowhere, he can just get the right angle and completely wreck you. You see, that's one of the differences with the Japanese version. AI used some more buffs. Okay, thought so. So there are definitely more, yeah. So why did they do that? Is that actually an inbuilt thing, or what? Because, again, my theory is that this is the version that they wanted. And then something happened and they were, you know, they were told to copy other stuff. Because I almost want to say, as utterly jacked as the balance sounds to me, that this would be more balanced than the US version was. But I have nothing to really back that up, so we'll see. We will see! Currently this has 0 difficulty. But if I end up seeing a late game unit able to use a spear without, you know, completely bouncing off, then we'll see. Then I would actually prefer the weirdly jacked up version. I mean, obviously none of them even slightly shine a light on one vision, but hey, you know, between the two, at least it would make going through the original version every now and then a little bit more of an interesting thing. Like, it would solve a little bit of a mental puzzle I'd had going in my head for a while. So I think they trimmed the AI to make the game faster. Well, wow! That sounds like... that explains a lot, actually. Huh. Wow, okay. Interesting. Yeah, then this definitely would be the one for utterly weird gimmick runs alongside the other ones, then. Huh. Is there any way to copy it over or something? Because I'd absolutely love to see more of that. I mean, I know they use different ROMs, I know they use different stuff, but is any amount of it still in there, you think? Also, we go through these mysterious war zones where none of the children die.
3 weeks have passed since the massacre at Bombs. Consumed with a lust for revenge,
Still in English.
took to the battlefield, resting
Because everybody wants to hear the British lady sounding all professional in Japanese like, so no idea, maybe, but that's a ton of dirt I'd have to dig through. Well, either way, hopefully it comes up. That sounds really cool if it's possible. This, you know, seeing the AI use more buffs, that'd be really nice. I mean, it seems like they have been, you know, starting to, especially since you started giving them other stuff. But then again, you know, literally anything that adds more stuff to the game is always going to be nice. It's already amazing. Like, I just want to point out, it's still an outright miracle, as far as I can see, how you even put together everything that's already in One Vision at this point. So, just kudos, man. Seriously. That thing is a miracle. If you ever have one of those days where it's like, oh man, this is taking forever, it's demoralizing or something, you are making a miracle. just full stop right there. See, none of the children die was not the motto of OB64. Instead, it was let the children have spears. Yeah, very true. You know what? After you mentioned that on one of the OB64 parts, it made me think, like, you know what? They have to go through a lot of battles in a really long period of time before they join you, and people did get conscripted from the friggin' military at like 15 at that point. So that is legit possible that they're actually supposed to be kids with spears. And that's really, really jacked up, especially in the current fairy run. Because, oh my god, we've lost so many. That is some serious crap right there. See, don't worry, I won't give up before 1.0. Appreciate it, man. Come to think about it, have you ever thought about setting up like a Patreon or something? Like, just to direct people over to? It's like, here, go donate money to dude. If you haven't, I will totally set one up for you. And I set one up for myself, and made 0 pennies in years, though to be fair, I'm not actually creating that much, I'm just being amused by things, so maybe that's a problem. Actually, you know what, speaking of people being amused by weird things, did you hear that apparently Ferrari like put out some new fancy ultra exclusive car, and the only people who freaking got that thing, the only ones in the world, or in the US rather, that could get a hold of it, were apparently these 2 douchey kids on YouTube who did videos since they were kids of just like running into public places and dancing, and they were the only ones that were allowed to get one of those things. Like, apparently there were complaints flying from people like, you know, they had millions of dollars, they were buying Ferraris all their life, and then, you know, their entire dream was to own a Ferrari, and then several and everything else, and they made it happen, and they're not allowed to get it. It's too exclusive for them to have it. But then these 2 kids that basically made millions off of a total fluke, like, joke kind of thing off YouTube, like, yeah, no, these guys are deserving. Let's see. And hire 30-something kids for the price of one night, and those kids would get money, cash money. Dang. Dang. Wait, can you actually hire those guys? I thought you just got them as a bonus. I didn't realize you could hire any more. See, now really, there's no money in modding. It's a labor of love. Maybe there shouldn't be. True enough. True enough. True, true, true. Dang good motivator, though. I guess, honestly, the same thing should be said about streaming things and all that, some suchery. Because, yeah, I've noticed as soon as people start getting money, it tends to kind of go to their head a little bit. Alright, so I just want to point out, already just barely into Chapter 2, already basically 50 on stats on Mr. Denim here. Already don't need armor whatsoever. This is without Strengthen, so let's go ahead and pick up Strengthen on everybody, I think. At least I think it's Strengthen. I'm not able to read Nintendo, so whatever. And I think Anatomy, are you Anatomy? You're probably Anatomy. This is 1 after Throne, which is weirdly expensive and weirdly useless. Man, I will never understand what the hell you were thinking with that. So yeah, if you weren't aware, originally, archers were able to get Throne. They actually can in all versions, quite frankly. But yeah, the original version of Throne, no finishers or anything. They just got slightly better with a very, very outrageously expensive weapon that didn't really do much special. I believe they had a higher crit rate, at least they always felt like they did. and they did a little bit more damage, but quite frankly, it was just never worth it. But yeah, let's see. You can grab 30-something kids off the street for free. Oh my god, man. Oh, that is glorious. Ah. Ah. That's friggin' beautiful right there. And this is the hold down a button and sit and sip coffee run. As giant beasts are taken down by tiny little sticks. Yeah, this is legit. Actually, one of my favorite things early on, when I was doing all kinds of different challenges, was when I used to go through Night of Lotus, and I would always go in with just like basic units and crossbows. So basic soldiers and crossbows, and just thinking like, okay, this is like modern military going through Tactics Ogre. And it was so fun doing that. Just because they ended up getting a decent amount of stats. Like, as much as all the guides out there seem to say like, oh yeah, basic soldiers, they got no stats whatsoever, but apparently they were decent enough to pull off crossbow builds throughout the entire game. Like, composite crossbows did function all the way up to share. So, no worries there. So going in with a single large rocket. Yeah, the way that I ended up doing them, doing Damon there, so was just starting off with a bunch of larges, just used both the basic hand rockets and then the large rockets on the back. Just because the larges, if you got lucky, like if you ended up sniping everything just right, you could kneecap him, it ended up jacking up his turning speed, and then you'd be able to go in and just kind of finish him off with everything else. It took several attempts, but I think ultimately it took like roughly 2.5 hours, and I was able to get him. But yeah. Yeah, this is feeling so strategic right now. Feeling so tactically challenged. You know, I should probably go over there and just craft upgraded bows for everybody just to make this even more ridiculous. Or just turn on the cheat for having the best weapons at all times. Just skip the crafting process entirely. Do I have cheats enabled in this one? I don't think so. Don't think so. Also, didn't save in a while, so I'll just go ahead and save state it. As they go in and completely wreck, as they do. Yeah, octopi, it's funny because octopi, they seem to be even more defensive than dragons. I have nothing to back that up, but I think they have higher vitality than dragons do, and I think dragons just have higher base defense. I could be wrong on that. Because yeah, it always feels like by the very end, the upgraded octopi there, even with the dragoons, they kind of become a bit of an issue. Like they were just scrambling, they're like, okay, how on earth do we balance these things for dragoons? Oh, I know. Let's make them immune to everything else. This sounds like a great plan. I see no problems that could possibly occur. Alright. Snipe, snipe, snipe. So I think, actually, for the purposes of making it viable, if I were to set up a save file to allow like a Twitch plays Tactics Ogre type situation to occur, for one thing, it would definitely be on this version because you know your units end up getting crazy stats. But for another thing, I mean, I would do one vision, but I don't think random controls could possibly make it through that. But for another thing, you know, it's kind of making me wonder if actually, then again, they may never hit anything. Is the problem. They have to specifically hit certain tiles. I wonder if there's a way to set it up to where... I'd have to think about it. I'm sure there's a way to make it happen. It's like if I set up a save file, give everybody counter hit, and turn everybody into an archer, and then just like let them see what happens. Then they might just end up winning through counter hits alone. Who knows? Let's see, using my circle around technique I mentioned before? Yeah, I mean, that could work. Probably will work. Personally, my favorite technique was just kind of doing this sort of zigzag back glide and aiming directly for his toes. Seemed to do the trick quite nicely. Hold down the button, run. Kinda wonder if we were able to beat Chapter 2 before I get this finished up. Well, I've got about 20 more minutes, give or take. I can't help but notice that healing is actually scaling somewhat. Like, I know that healing scales off of the stats very, very low, but she's doing 47. So by this point, usually they'd only be doing like 42 or so, so it still sucks, but yeah. Let's see, gotta say when I see, gotta say that seeing people having a hard time in the mod when they use vanilla game strategy makes me decently happy. Nah, no, I know what you mean. It's honestly, it kind of bugs me a little bit sometimes. It's like you knew what you were getting into. It's like look at your. Usually, what I say in that situation is just look in front of you. Just look at what you're fighting. That's all you need to do. That's the only thing. Look forward, and you should have no trouble. Like that's all. And usually, the immediate complaint is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to go through and check every single unit." And then, like, 9 times out of 10, that same person was talking about how much they loved like, something like 1.3. It's like, really? Really? You don't want to check every single unit, but you love the one where you literally do have to do that. But anyway. Yeah, it's funny that that exact comment came up during this one Discord discussion a little while ago. Where was it on? I want to say... Who was that? It wasn't one of the usual ones either. Like I want to say it came off of somebody that was a oh no, it was a guy talking about Long War over in the XCOM Discord. It's like, oh man, I played that game. I played some Tactics over before, and I show him the mod. It's like, oh man, there's all these extra complications. I don't know if I want to go through checking every single unit. So I want to point out Long War, right? So if you've never played Long War. Specifically, he was talking about the one for Enemy Unknown. We're talking about a game that has so many things flying around that you literally have to stop and scan every single enemy, of which there could be like 50 in a level, to find out exactly what skills they have, to find out, to figure out what order all of your skills are going to go off. Like you set up a trap where you have one guy, fire off a flush on somebody else, have 3 guys overwatching one particular tile, and have somebody else that's coming in for like a shotgun behind the back in case they miss, and you have somebody else throwing out smoke before all that to make sure that some other counterattack doesn't hit you. And it's really satisfying when it all comes together, but oh my god, you have to like friggin' observe like an absolute mofo in that one. So yeah, funnily enough, that was the complaint coming from that side. Like, really, that's where you're going with this? Like, you could not possibly be more off the mark with this one. But anyway. So let's see, what do we need for longbows again? Does this one have longbows? No, I need the other crafting book. Dang it, I can't read all them Nintendos. This one's gonna be armor, isn't it? Go to the craftables and upgrade the longbow. So it looks like I need 1 iron, probably 1 temerity, and 1 string. So let's go ahead and buy some string. Get you strong. Right. I like 10 of them suckers. And then I need some wood. Gotta get some wood. Now, let's go ahead and do that. Now, I want to say it's this one. Now, off the mark am I? Okay, that's for metal. That's fine. Sure wish... I think this one's iron. I hope that's iron. And we have proper iron down here. And we've got the help of fast forward button to make this hopefully less tedious. Man, I still can't believe that around the earliest times of One Vision, the earliest times of the mod, and I actually was going through, was doing a base game, like gun-only run this entire game. Was trying to go through Palace of the Dead and everything, and sat here for friggin' hours, grinding and grinding and grinding to get like I think 50 orbs, and it still wasn't enough to win a fight. That's just, oh man, that was depressing. Let's see, figure I should do Daemon before going for a big fish like Zaneta. I would say, like, Daemon requires the most skilled sniping. Zaneta just requires the most patience, because quite frankly you're just waiting for her loop to be correct. Just so you know, if you're going for Zaneta, she does have a bit of an annoying thing where if you end up breaking her legs, you're kind of screwed. She'll basically become even faster. And so she'll just go around doing all kinds of weird spazzy movements all over the place, and you're just not going to hit her after that point. She just turns into a complete psychopath. And just so you know, the other one, I would say the hardest one to actually rock it was 2448. Basically Nexus Evangel. And yeah, that guy, oh my god, if his AI decides he's going to screw you, you're just screwed. There's not much that can be done about it, because unless you plan to somehow infinitely fly, it ain't gonna happen. So there we go. Anyway, get my irons on. See, I'm on PS2. I have to restart mission if I fail. Oh my goodness. Screw all kinds of that. Yeah, using save states to go back to the very start of the fight, that was frustrating enough. I would never ever wanna... Thanks, failing iron. Appreciate that my friggin' iron exploded. Because you somehow failed to smelt one of the easiest things to actually put together that humanity's ever figured out. Arrgh! Grumble, grumble, grumble. Alright. Also, it's adorable how they end up putting those couple things over there. Like, oh yeah, you know, look, we made a shiny silver class mark. It means this class is good. No, it isn't. Anyway, where's wood? You need this one. Sure would be nice if they didn't look identical, but screw it, it's wood, I guess. Feels like that one meme of the book, of some book that was flying around a while ago. It was just like how to identify wood, and it's just like some guy staring at a piece of wood. The caption on it was like, "Oh yeah, it's wood." Good to know. Good to know. All right, that was not the right kind of wood. Good to know. You need this one, I think. I don't know. Maybe. We will see. A logical person might have said, hey, I should probably go end the stream earlier when there was like 11 average people, which is just friggin' unheard of for me. But, didn't happen. Didn't happen. Guess I just gotta give them interesting titles from now on. So yeah, 45 to 51%. What is that crap? So I guess I gotta buy more bows, don't I? Whatever, whoever gets them, gets them. It's not like we really need that many. Funny enough, they become obsolete pretty darn quick. I believe the next siege bows or whatever else come in a couple battles. At that point you upgrade that one, and then you're basically set for most of the rest of the game. Yeah, some of them failed. As long as Canopus and Denim get one, whatever. Ooh, and we can make an upgraded short bow. Nice. Give that to somebody. It'll totally have a purpose. Funny enough, every time that I try to go back to the older versions, you know, I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, you know, I'll find what they were going for. It's been like a long-running thing where I just wanted to understand what it was they were thinking with a lot of these different things. And yeah, as far as the upgrades, that was definitely one of them, because it seems so weird to me that you know, some of them, like for example the default, I think it was the default crossbow, has a stun effect on it. It's like, wow, that's really strong. You know, I can understand why somebody would do that. And then you've got other ones that it's like, you know, check it out, I made, you know, this little bow. It's got 2 extra damage on it, and it requires all these rare ingredients. It's like, but why? Why you did this? Alright, so now we let the aerosol fight go and do itself. Like, potato! Scribble, scribble, scribble! Eat my scribbles! Well, like, we don't want scribbles today. Thank you, though. Though, on a funny note of weird balance decisions, I've recently been going through Fallout 4 again. That's one of those ones that it kind of bugged me originally, because I was coming off of New Vegas, and that game is just beautiful. Like, honestly, every single thing about New Vegas I absolutely adore. You know, even its occasional jankiness. Bear in mind, I experienced that game in the worst possible light, because I was starting it off on PS3. To this day, the PS3 version is functionally almost unplayable. To the point where pretty much every time you play it, it will crash at least twice. So many things crash it, it's not even funny. Also, once again, one-shotting a boss. But whatever. Moving on. We're like, we should get on this boat, but then we're not gonna. Then we go over here. Then we go ahead and let this fight play itself. Yeah, folks thought I was making up the whole thing, just literally leaving the game on autopilot. No. This is how it goes. Even on the original, where your stats weren't as jacked as this one, you still could do this. Just make everybody into archers, just sit back and hold the fast-forward button, and win the game. No fights whatsoever. Because eventually, they run out of grunts, and at that point, they will target the leader. And, yeah, there you go. Like, the only worry is literally when you get to the point where you need fancy bows, and at that point you can just presumably find some. And or hopefully their skills will be high enough to the point where it doesn't matter. Because if you end up getting rank 8 or whatever, you're basically good with almost whatever. Although I will point out, as a pan, not likely to survive even under these very positive circumstances. So what a shame. Goodbye, Mr. Zapan. That's what you get for being all rapey in the other route. It's all funny. He's all happy and, happy-go-lucky and everything else in this one. Then you go through on chaos or neutral, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm totally getting casual pants." That describes a lot of characters in this game. Like, it's funny because the original version, okay? The original version back on the SNES, because of the way that they did the portraits, personally I always really prefer the portraits of the original. Just because everybody looked really disheveled, and in that light, when they made her, like, this kind of nervous character, they want to, they want to be projecting power and everything else, but they're, clearly nervous and above their head. That expression made so much more sense than it does in this one, where she just looks like a complete femdoge the entire time. Like, she just looks exactly like the Queen character you're supposed to hate later. Like, oh man, this character's such an absolute a-hole. No. We have one on our side that is the exact same thing, and for some reason, the developers were just having a hard-on for her the entire time. So, who knows? Anyway, so Darza goes dead now. Man, that was challenging. What a strategic encounter. Okie dokie. Much strategery. And we got a book out of that, and we got some more stats out of that, and we're getting all crazy OP-like. Okay. Let's look at their stats, right? Already past 50. Already past 50 on several of them. And then once Casual leaves, we're gonna end up flying even past that, because at this point we're still leveling 2 classes. So once we get past that point, oh man. Oh yeah, you guys are totally gonna have a chance. Get ready to see a whole bunch of one-shots. Because these guys, if you never knew, actually I think these guys might have been one of the few times where the AI actually remained decent. So however it works, these guys' AI seems unusually advanced compared to pretty much the whole rest of the game. So why I always particularly like this fight, because they end up using lobbers and bombs and things like that surprisingly intelligently. I don't want to use that many LY words in one sentence, but it'll work. Yep. These guys are apparently going in like some kind of police formation here. Actually, you know what's great? If you've ever watched Gotham, it's weird. It reminds me of that. So they have this section. Gotham's basically, it's like they have the whole Batman story, except it's the story of Commissioner Gordon before everything happens. And so he's basically being this like crazy good police guy. Well, crazy good for an action movie police guy. Honestly, he has more in common with Kung Fury than he does friggin' Matlock. But whatever. He literally spends most of the time doing impossible action movie crap over and over. Like, oh yeah, the entire police station got taken out. He comes in and just like completely owns everybody. Like, okay, Super Cop just came, saved everybody. Also, he's now demoted. Okay, that makes sense. So, anyway, they have this one moment where they're like, okay, look, you need to have a team. You can't keep doing everything yourself. So they bring in his team, and it's just like a bunch of guys who prove that they're good enough to be at his side by doing a whole bunch of like zigzagging between different obstacles. And they're like, oh yeah, look, these guys are able to move. That's how you know they're serious. So, anyway, so he ends up letting them join in, and they go through this whole long training montage. The second that they get used, they basically all die. It's like every character on that show exists to die just to be able to show off that he's more awesome than them. Also, hang on just one sec here. I need a dang tissue. My controller didn't need you anyway. Enjoy crumply sounds. Man. Alright, there we go. Sorry for that loud noise that came through. What's funny is even in their crazy overpowered state, Catalio is still a threat to these guys. But there's a really reasonable chance that they actually might cause him to attack. So there's a rare cutscene here that may happen. We'll see. Oh no, never mind, he's probably just going to die before that happens. If Josephine steps forward, we're going to see that cutscene. Yeah, normally their casting stats absolutely suck. You act like a cow, promote you? Okay. You're promoted to Hoofmaster 9000? I don't know. Also, yeah, hang on one sec. Alright, and I'm back. There we go. Alright. Oh, by the way, Mr. Rakes, if you're still here, I was curious about something. Oh man, they totally beat me, what a shame! Yeah, funny thing is, if you end up beating Josephine before he leaves, he'll just turn around and completely own you. It's pretty fantastic, actually. Because usually, 9 times out of 10, there's no possible chance that you have any chance against him whatsoever. He's crazy overleveled to the point that you're usually doing 1 damage. So I always appreciated that one. Like, especially in the original, it was not even a contest. Like, if you've ever seen that one scene from Game of Thrones where the mountain... Like, Okay, so they've got the scene with the mountain where a bunch of religious folks are trying to take in the person that he's protecting. They're like, okay, so just so you know... Oh, we can't leave the fight? Right, this is the fight with the Not Liberation Front, or the New Wallister Rebellion, or whatever the hell they call it. Anyway, so they're like, oh, you know, we're gonna have to use force, and there's all these guys in robes and like maces and everything. So he just steps forward. He's like, oh man, I guess we're gonna have to do it. So he gets all confident, he runs up and he smacks him right in the chest plate. Like basically his mace thing just ends up getting something more like a claw hammer. Gets stuck in him because he's got all this gold armor that's more decorative than anything else. He's basically an unkillable super zombie at that point. But yeah, so so it just gets stuck in him. He picks the guy up by the neck. It's like chokes him out, rips his head off, throws him off to the side. Just like everybody's like, "Oh crap, we took on the overleveled guy." Let's see. Gold Knight reminds me of a character from Del Toro Quest. I don't know. Every time I see the gold armor thing, it reminds me of Rock Knight, which is a weird reference. Because technically speaking, they weren't much of a character. They were literally just like a background thing that got pointed out several times during an old like Retsuprey episode from way the hell back when. And yeah, it was literally just this guy that's just in gold armor with a guitar. They were talking about how they wanted to see Rock Knight in more things. And sure enough, somebody made that happen. They literally made an album cover with Rock Knight on it. So if you ever look up Rock Knight Death Ball, it's there. And a lot of people have actually offered to fund a proper album of it and everything. Oh, I missed that one. What were you asking? I was actually just asking if, by any chance, is there ever an opportunity for when somebody gets hit by something to allow it to have a different sound effect? Like, you know when somebody hits somebody that's using evade, it has that ping sound? I wonder if it's at all possible to add that to, like, if somebody does, like, armor or damage below a certain threshold, that it does that same ping sound. So, like, for example, if somebody's attacking a heavy unit and, you know, they're doing absolutely no damage. I'm assuming, like usual, when I'm asking stupidly specific requests, the answer is no, what are you thinking? But I figured I'd ask, because god dang, that would be cool. Anyway, also, we're going to end up joining these guys later. That's why we've completely obliterated their entire team in a matter of seconds. Yeah, these guys must be terrifying to see. Like, can you just imagine that you just see all these arrows fly out and just obliterate everyone? Presumably, you're just firing lasers out of these bows. It's like, kind of if you've seen the intro to Armored Core Last Raven, it's kind of like that, except instead of firing the Python, he's just firing a bow. But anyway. Yeah, by the way, probably most leading intro of all time. Alright, how overpowered is Denim at this point? Okay, well above 50. Agility is heading towards 70. Yeah, it's very realistic that using this run you can be completely maxed out by endgame. Okay. We're just gonna go for whatever the top option is. Like, oh yeah, I like these squiggles, sir. We go back this way, and then fights happen. And this is normally one of the harder fights, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Totally is. So this is normally one of the fights that I'm giving people a lot of trouble. I'm going to go ahead and save state it before anything happens. Let's see, no sound sets in the game are pretty simplistic. Aw. Well, dang. That would have been really cool. Hopefully one day, like maybe if that whole MIPS thing ends up happening, or whatever else, maybe, you know. I'm just going to go ahead and dream here. I mean, realistically, it's not going to happen. Like, I'd imagine the only reason they were able to add so many things to the SNES game is that they'd probably rewrite the thing from the ground up. I mean, considering that one was so dang complicated, it caused some people to, well, basically have a heart attack, then I'm pretty sure we won't be seeing it. But oh well, oh well, oh well. But yeah, I'm going to have to end it pretty quickly here. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, or rather 7 minutes at this point. Because there's still some stuff that, you know, that I'm hopefully going to be able to take care of in a shorter amount of time. I just want to see what'll happen. I'm almost tempted to find out what happens if I just leave Denim with a dagger and no dagger skill if he completely owned Vice later. No, wait, it's Lenar that he fights. No, he should just be able to one-shot Lenar. Whatever. I wouldn't imagine it would be much of an issue. Yes, you've got healing. Stop trying to delay a fight that you've got no chance to win. Nice healer you had there. Goodbye. Nice that guy you had there. He didn't matter. Fair enough. Nice wizard you had there. Oh wow, he managed to get a -2 roll. That almost never happens. Darn that woman should never have come to this. Oh man. Just smack the controller with my coffee cup because I don't feel like using my finger. Whatever, Vice can't die here, so please just aim for him. No? Okay, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. One guy over there is setting records by surviving 3 shots. How impressive. There we go, and fight's over. Weirdly enough, we're going to get the good air cell ending on this one. See, I don't think it would be possible even then. You can see those things in games that they have material system for items. Fallout Tactics is one of the older games that have that. Okay, true. True. Come to think of it, yeah, I need to continue that run. Almost completely forgot about, I know, feels bad. I've been meaning to do Equilibrium, and then so many mods came out! So much crap came out at once. By crap, I mean amazingness, by the way. Alright, and old lady gets replaced with old man in this route. I like to think there are a couple, just one survives or one doesn't. Alright, so doing 60s even against golems here. This run is jokes. Alright, got 5 minutes left. Are we able to get into Chapter 3? Possible. Yeah, Chapter 2 is pretty short. I kind of wanted to do, let's do the Bode fight, but it occurred to me we're not on neutral. So I really love the kind of squiggly effect next to that dragon there. Looks like his name's going all really fast, like. It's good stuff. See, it's understandable, FT is old, and the gameplay is fiddly as hell. It's really fun, though. It's really dang fun. Like, honestly, playing with that mod is another one of those things where it's just like, it feels good. You know, when it's just like, the game just feels right. So, like, usually, very few games give me that feeling. Like, AC, a lot of the AC games did, like, mostly AC 2 and 3. Specifically 2nd and 3rd gen, I should say, and, well, 2nd and early 3rd gen. And then later on, 4 Answer, those were the ones from the AC that, like, really, really did it for me. Then, oh, I was hoping he would crit. Oh well. Fight's done. Man, these fights are ending faster than you could make a piece of toast. And we run forward towards that closed gate that they'll mysteriously open for no apparent reason. Yep, and get even more stats. Then save it right there. But, yeah. Like, Equilibrium does it for me. Saints Row 2 definitely does it for me there. 2nd gen Pokemon, 3rd gen Pokemon, kind of. Funnily enough, the most recent one, I don't know if that's 6th or 7th or whatever gen, or Pokemon or whatever. Those are pretty nice, though I really wish they'd stop speaking most of the time. If they had an option to turn off all the dialogue, I'm pretty sure everyone would love it. Because, oh my god, the dialogue is just so goddamn awful. Like, it's by far the worst part of those games. I don't know why they do it. Because other than if they had an option in the options there, again, I'm pretty sure kids would never find it, and I'm pretty sure adults would appreciate the hell out of it. Because well, pretty much every year my wife and I get whichever ones came out because we like to play those games together. Or I should say we like to play through the first and second gens, then completely forget about them, then realize there's another one coming out, then immediately just like speedrun those things in like a week, and then fight each other several times, sell them, and get the next one. So there's that. I'll take some orange juice. I don't have any dang orange juice. Does it look like time for oranges, sir? No, it doesn't. Looks like everything is frozen and snowy as all crap out there. Actually, it's funny, because everything was near impossible to walk out on, so I walked out with a salt bucket and salted the ever-loving Christ out of the parking lot out here. Some guy was all grumbly about how much salt I was throwing out. Like, dude, you cannot walk on this crap! I almost died several times taking the dog out. Like, you are gonna just get this salt under your shoe and you're gonna love it. So, whatever. Such is life sometimes. Neighbor's kid is weirding me out today. I keep looking at the monitor, and that is clearly my kiddo, and he's over there sleeping. Second one is sleeping too. She's all well and tired. Meanwhile, I still keep hearing screaming in the background. Because our neighbor's kid never stops screaming. Man. Isn't this strategic? I feel so strateged out right now. Man, my brain, it hurts from all of the thought involved. Such difficult mini-challenge. How can possibly do a thinking and winning? This is just too much. Is he salty about the salt? Exactly. Yeah, winter came early? Dude, it came really early. Like, it came a month ago, and it's been really coming down. Like, yesterday, it was to the point where it was just completely freezing, and bear in mind, I'm one of those weirdos that loves the cold, so I'm out there in, like, shorts and the t-shirt, going and scrubbing off my wife's car. But even then, I was getting it on, getting on my skin and everything. Like, you know what, I'm probably getting frostbite at this point, so I guess I'll just go inside now. But I'm over there just, like, friggin' pickaxing away at all the ice all over her car, so she can go to work. But yeah, we have an ice system, It's, she has to go do a lot more work, so try to make sure that everything's ready for her at all times. Because dang it, that's the way it should be. Alright, got a 1v1 here. And that's probably where I'm gonna have to cut it off. But we'll see. We'll see if there's time. But yeah, it is frozen as hell. Alright, Lenar, how hard are you gonna die? The answer is amazingly hard, actually. You know what? It's interesting. Hang on. Hold on just a fiddly dang minute here. I can't help but notice he's still taking 6 from Aerosol. Is he also getting those same stat growths? Alright, also can my interrupt friggin' work, please? Thank you. I can't tell for sure. It doesn't show his base stats. Okay, they're at about 80s, he's at about 100s. Do you know, Mr. Rakes, do you know by chance if they get the same stat growths? Because if so, that'd be interesting. That'd be really interesting as far as why that goes. It'd make it would make a lot of stuff make more sense. Because these guys are doing nothing to him. Mr. Duga, you is boned. I think they do. Yeah, so that's weird. So is this, like... this is, granted, still a complete hot mess, but to some degree it almost feels like it's better than the US version? That can't be right. Alright, then a bunch of dudes were dead everywhere. Also, this time, Gildas doesn't get picked up by Nibbith, so he just gets knocked out instead of dead. Fair enough, okay. And Kashua decides to peace off and go play with her idiot ball off screen, I'm like, oh man, we won the war, and now's when I want to quit and run away, please. Okay. Bye. Actually, wait, let's go to the store. I would like to buy bows, please. No, I don't. No sock. We're gonna go now. Alright, it's good. I'm gonna really stretch it for time here. Let's do this. Speed run. This is weirdly amusing. I actually might continue this on in the morning. Just because I want to see how far this will go. With just the starter units and Mr. Flesh Spring. It's hard to say when you hit level 50s, it's a fight of all 100 stats versus all 80s? Huh. Still junk, but it might be better than 100 versus 30, true. Yeah, that's weird. Come to think of it, yeah, that would make a lot more sense, because they can't go up past their certain amounts. Huh. Yeah, this definitely makes so much more sense, though. I will say archers definitely still feel retardedly overpowered, but still, I have a feeling almost any class would do this. I'm gonna have to put this mod on my Vita and just like play around with this a bit more. But yeah, I'm curious to see how healing ends up scaling up here, because yeah, that guy is still doing 40. Definitely nothing too impressive. Whatever, we'll find out. Also, my phone's almost dead, so may not see chat in a little bit here. Alright, whatever. Do that. There we go. He pieces out. See if we can do another castle fight in these last 5 seconds. Feels possible, considering how short they're lasting. Or hard, that's what she said. Presumably Mr. Birdman's gonna run up here. Actually, you know what? Using this version, I'm gonna try it. Sometime in the near future, I'm gonna go through this version using only AI and just try to actually legitimately speedrun this. Because I know the record is like 4 hours or something like that. This has been... what is it, like 2.5, or no, just 2, right? And we're already past the halfway point. It feels like we're kind of getting there. 3 isn't the longest chapter in the world. 4, I mean, depends on how you do it. But I have a feeling this potential method can actually beat world record. Especially with how stats end up functioning in this version. So I'd have to see which maps do what, and which routes are shortest. But I think it's legit possible to claim world record on a TO speedrun. That'd be fun. But yeah, no, I'll take 100 versus 80 versus 100 versus 30. But, yeah, stuff got a little bit jacked sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can take that 600-hour run and go ahead and claim it as the world record for one Vision speed run. Because nobody else did one, so whatever, it's technically correct. I mean, nobody's going to beat Mr. Woodruff Foles over there with his 100% speed run. If he doesn't submit that thing to Speedrun Archives, I will. Because, yeah, that's absolutely legit right there. Because nobody will ever attempt a 100% run of that, ever. Just, it's not going to happen. Because that was just the most unpleasant run I've ever seen in my life of anything. Like, somebody probably could have done using a one-button version of Toast Simulator for 3.5 years, and it probably wouldn't have been as grind-heavy as that run. Well, anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut it off here, though. Time for me to get going-ish. I wonder if I just leave this running. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait till I beat this guy. Where is my tape? Do I have tape? Do I have a stick? Oh, you know what? Get over here, Mr. Stick Figure Man. You are about to do your most important job that you've ever done. Hold down this button, my good man. Come on, Stickman. You got this. Okay, appears Mr. Stickman is not quite up for the job. Let's see, top charts for fairy runs, March of the Black Queen. Yeah, fair enough. I probably... Fairy enough, rather. I should totally put that up there. See how many people try fairy percent runs. Because I know multi-segment is absolutely a category, so why not? Yeah, the stick figure guy is not able to hold down this awkward friggin' trigger. That worked better in the chat window with line breaks. What can you do, right? Alright, and as soon as Bird Guy gets down here, it'll be the end of this map. Oh look, they took a step forward. You know what? Does the AI actually know not to charge? Dude, the AI is actually not charging. Bird Guy, in literally every other time I've done this map, just went ahead and charged forward. Huh. Yeah, I guess it's true that the AI was stripped down then. Because this is the same thing that they did in the SNES version, so it never made sense that it's something that they took out for the PSP. Well, I'm pretty sure there's no question as to whether or not they'll win this, it's just more a matter of when. So I do have to get going here. Again, I've got about 2 minutes to do a hell of a lot of stuff here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it, and yeah, I'm gonna continue this on tomorrow morning. So yeah, we'll get stuff going at that point. So, see you then, and take care. Have a good one. Bye!